Hi, everybody. Again, I was just making a sweet little wellness video for the kiddos. And like last week, I thought I would make something quick for you in case when I send out the email on Friday for our numbers, which we are in third place. So I think we can like totally kick it up a notch as far as, what we're counting. Although our numbers last week were amazing. So whatever. But, that's really not the point. Like, yeah, the fit thing is great and it's fun to participate in, and and like the camaraderie of it or whatever. But hopefully, what I tend to notice is what happens when I just shift a little bit to thinking about what I'm doing for myself. In that, as of right now, I think we can like all agree. Like I said last week, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot for us to be taking in and like shifting, and like there's the stability that we need is not going to be created by like what's going on in our outside world. So, that's when it's up to us to just take a few minutes to establish that consistency in ourselves, which, is easy to ignore, I think, for me. And sometimes by the time I realize that I really should have taken a step back and like, what is going on here? It can be too late. So, anyways, maybe you caught this in the morning before you submit a number, before you go to the kids, or like I said, in the afternoon or in the evening. I feel like morning yoga is preventative. Evening yoga is restorative. So, whatever. Ideally, we have like both, but anyways. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a down dog. If you are doing this in the morning, like the best hands down pose to do starting out your morning, because it just does, it hits all the sweet spots. So go ahead and take a down dog. And if you haven't ever taken down dog before, couple points to make. So where your hips are, you are in like an inverted V rather than a forward fold, so that you can push back through the heels and push off the hands. And then drop your head down so that your head is hanging as far as you can. And then pull your chest forward. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you think about pulling your chest towards your thighs, you'll get that heart opener shape. And then breathe. So take a big breath in. Sink the heels down on your breath out. You don't have to touch the mat. Like, that's a misconception that your heels are supposed to touch the mat. It's just a direction that you can move in to increase the sensation in the backs of your thighs. In your low back, especially the hips, lots of back pain comes from stagnant movement in the hips and the energy in the hips. Look towards your hands and then walk yourself to a forward fold. Let your feet come directly underneath your hips. And then drop your head down. And then start to sway from left to right. You can let your hands hang down. You can grab for the backs of your calf muscles, or maybe grab for your elbows and create a frame shape with the face. And just sway from left to right. Squish your belly onto your thighs so that you can get that compression in the belly. So in yoga, so many of the poses focus on compression, because compression and twisting is thought to be the two movements that increase health the most because of the way that they work together. So as you compress and then twist, you said to remove toxins from the internal abdominal organs. Makes sense, kind of. So keep that belly pushed onto the thighs. Release the hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. I walked the kids through a sun salutation in their video today, and actually I'm going to do pretty much the same thing with you because yoga is yoga. So inhale, lift up high, come to your mountain pose. Bring your big toes together to touch. Let your fingertips rise over your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide, and if you like, push your palms towards the ceiling. Exhale and fold forward. Take it all the way down to a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, walk your right foot back so you're in a low lunge. One thing I want you to look for, I'm totally falling off my mat. One thing I want you to look for is that your left knee is right over your left ankle. So if you're like way over or way underextended, bring your left foot up so it's underneath your knee. Coming into a crescent lunge. Inhale, take the arms overhead. And then keep pushing through the back heel. Let your gaze be directly forward. Let your left hip pull back as your right hip pulls forward. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Drop the right foot to a 45-degree angle and keep that left knee nice and bent. Squeeze the chest forward and reach the fingertips out and be real active in the hands. So pull the hands away from the shoulders instead of just kind of letting it limp down. Reach in opposite directions. Inhale, reverse your warrior. So drop your right hand behind you, lift your left hand up. And exhale, come all the way down, back to your low lunge. Take your right foot forward so that your hips are facing forward. There's no weirdness in the hips. And then walk your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Take that big mountain pose. Big toes come together to touch. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, hands to shins, push off the shins, pull the shoulders away from the ears. This time, exhale, walk the left foot back far enough so that your right knee is directly over your right foot. My pants are hanging over my right foot, so you can't even see my foot. Keep your left heel pushing back. And then slowly rise to your crescent lunge. And if you're pretty familiar with yoga, like these are going to sound like familiar poses then. But if you're not, like it's pretty much we're all the same, right? It all is going to feel the same to us. And this is like the most perfect sequence to take in the morning because it's simple, but it gets everything. Like every part of the body. You take those inversions, you find those compressions, you have some strengthening, obviously, through the right hip. I'm going to take you into warrior two. You're like, how long are we going to sit there? Squeeze your chest forward. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle, so your left foot's kind of pushing towards the right top of your mat. You don't have to have a mat, by the way. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. Lift your right fingertips high. Let your left fingertips fall behind you. And exhale, come all the way down to your low lunge. Turn all 10 toes towards the front of your mat. Take a full breath in. And exhale, walk your left foot forward. Inhale, rise to stand. Find your Tadasana mountain pose. And here, take a back bend. So squeeze the elbows back, lift the heart and drop the head back and let all of that space that we keep hunched over for most of the day, I don't know, most of the day, but a lot of our work day is spent in this kind of situation going on. So let all that go. And don't worry if you start to feel a little funky here. That's really kind of normal because it's a situation that we don't normally put ourselves in where we open up our heart this big. Inhale, rise to stand. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale. Once again, walk the right foot back, but this time we're going to come into an extended pyramid pose as you straighten the left leg. I know how that feels. I feel it too. So just allow that stretch to be there. If you'd like, you could pull the left toes away from the mat. It's going to be a lot more. Another option for you is to take the hands behind the low back, interlace the fingertips, and then drop the fingertips towards the front of the mat. That's going to add a lot. So you're adding balance, you're adding a heart opener. So all the things. Do what makes you feel comfortable. It's only an option. We'll take one more breath in. And then one more breath out. Come back into your low lunge and walk your right foot forward. Then right away walk your left foot back. Come into your lunge and extend through that extended pyramid. Straighten through the right leg. And then maybe pull the right toes away. Maybe you did not enjoy that at all. By the way, it's a misconception that in yoga you're supposed to take these stretches to the most nth degree, and that's not true. You should just go to where it feels good. There's no need to be forceful here. And if you like, you can take that balance. But if you do take the balance, drop the right toes. Let's not try to do that. That would be insane. And then take your hands behind your low back, and then maybe drop your fingertips towards the front of your mat. Tighten up through the core if you're going there. And then start to drop the hands back to the mat. Walk your left foot to meet your right. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Close your eyes for just a few moments. In the kids video, I mentioned that this is called standing at attention, but in yoga we do call this samastitihi, which is the Sanskrit term for internal focus, internal gaze. So take a moment here to turn all of your attention in towards yourself. And take a scan for where your status is today. Physically, notice it all without any judgment, without any worry. Mentally, whether you've got a lot of thoughts going on, or if you've sifted through them, or maybe that short little sequence of breath and movement really helped to release some of the nonsense, some of the clutter. And then finally, emotionally. And I can't remember if I've mentioned it here before or where, but when you do take a gaze of your emotions, attempt to just notice them, but we do tend to try to notice and then change. Like, oh, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, oh, I must fix that. That's not really true, actually. You could just let it be for a moment until it gives you what you need and then move on from it. So take a big breath in and a deep breath out. And then take another deep breath in. And another deep breath out. Last breath in here. When you get to the top of your inhale, pause for just that one sweet second. And your final deep breath out. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. I hope this serves you well. It's just a little something. I know that some of you expressed some interest in yoga and then expressed the concern that you're not familiar with it or whatever, and that's the best kind. Even when you're familiar with yoga, there's so much to be unfamiliar with, and I think that's part of the draw of it, is getting used to something that you feel unfamiliar with, because Lord knows we've had our fair share of that this year. So Okay, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Happy weekend. I will send out, well, I'm sending out the email with this. So I hope I talk and see with you soon. Namaste.